The following podcast is sponsored by Bunderin Press. Bunderin Press is a Canadian publisher of quality science fiction titles, including this month's releases of Duatro by Brad C. Anderson, The Dark Corridor by Jennifer Ron, and The Sixth Helix by Al Anya. Check these books and more at bunderinpress.ca. And by Adam Dries, writer, presenter, speaker. His new book, 5 Critical Things for Successful Book Signings, will be available at the end of this month, May 27th. The book launch is at Owl's Nest Books. Definitely check him out. Also check out his previous books in the Yellow Hoods and Wizard Killer series. Welcome, everyone, to episode 256 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantellaresco. I write stuff and podcasts do. Today, a returning guest, one of my all-time favorites, Ellen Michelle. Ellen Michelle has, since we last talked, launched her Constellate Publishing on Patreon. She's about to relaunch her review blog. She's a publisher, full-blown, full-fledged. She's also an amazing editor. I'm speaking from experience here. She has done great work with me on the Cloud Diver. She definitely has made that story way, way better. I'm working on the edits now as we speak. I'm going to probably give her a bunch of questions soon-ish. I'm taking care of Alice Zero this week, and hopefully that the Cloud Diver is just my focus for the weeks to come. But, yeah, no, she was great. Like, I really, really... What caught me about her more than anything else was simply the fact that she wears her heart on her sleeve, and she really cares. And that, I think, more than anything else, is why she's so impressive. Enough about me. Let's just get to the conversation, and we'll do all the wonderful business stuff after. All right? All right. All right. I already just put the recorder on. We're gonna get to some of the wonderful formalities. So last time I chatted with you, you were about to start your company and take over the world.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. You've started your company.
I have, yeah. It launched in November.
Yeah. How has it gone?
So far, so good. So it's Constellate Publishing, and I'm publishing short fiction on Patreon. So it's an easy monthly subscription model, 1 story a month with art. And it's going really well so far. I've had a lot of positive feedback. The subscriber numbers aren't quite at what I hoped for by now, but now that my schedule is lightening up from some other things, hopefully I can put more time into promoting it, and then it'll grow from there. But yeah, I'm happy with where it's at so far.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask this, but it's real fun before you get to browbeating me, which is yeah. So this is gonna be a fun one, folks. So we're gonna do something a little different on this interview than we normally do. But for you, what has been the biggest surprise so far doing this, and what has been your favorite thing so far doing this?
Oh, good questions. My favorite thing, as with any of my work, is just getting to read and edit and work with authors, because I love that author-editor relationship. It's why I do what I do. The biggest surprise.
You always do things with a battle plan, and then usually at some point, the plan has to adjust. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of doing something very similar right now. I actually got a really good criticism from a really good friend. I have to really think about when I go home, mm-hmm. right? Ironically, about the Patreon part of my battle plan, mm-hmm. right? Because everything else I want to do feels is going to happen on mm-hmm. some level. And in fact, when this is over, I want to talk to you about you in particular, what I kind of want to do with you. Mm-hmm. So, but the thing about that is, so the sponsorship end of things is going fantastically. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I figured out what I want to do and what I want to achieve this year, and it looks like I'm going to get a lot of help from a lot of places. So that's good. That's fantastic. The Facebook page, I hit my first Uber fan, and I can tell. So Uber fans are like people that they promote your stuff and promote to people that don't know you, mm-hmm. right? And those are the people you really want to do that because those are the people that draw people to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So
I have been that Uber fan for some authors.
but that's good. We all need that Uber mm-hmm. fan. That Uber fan is what makes us go over the top. So I've had that already kind of happen on the Facebook end, but the Patreon end has been where I have to rethink my battle plans a little bit. Whereas mm-hmm. you I mean, you started off. Again, it's not maybe quite exactly where, but the Patreon seems to be going relatively well.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Right. And it's maybe some of the other ends of. I don't think enough people know exactly what you do.
Yeah, because I'm using Patreon in a very different way than it's necessarily designed for. So I've tweaked it to suit my purposes. So it does sometimes take some explaining. And I'm working on redoing the About section on the page so it is a little bit clearer what I'm doing and why I'm doing it the way that I am.
Yeah.
So I'm working on tweaking that. So hopefully that'll help ease people into it a little bit more because I am doing things a little bit differently, which is what I set out to do.
Yes.
Because I wanted to try something different, something that hadn't really been done before, and just see if it works.
Yeah, no, I got you. So has that been kind of like the surprise factor?
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think I would have to explain it as much as I have, but now that I've launched it and I've been in this position where I've had to explain what I'm doing, I'm now in a better position to market it because I know the questions that people have now, so I can use that to market it in certain ways, and I can change the description of it and have it cater to that a little bit better.
Okay.
So I've had to adjust a little bit since I started, but yeah.
I'll ask two very similar questions depending on how you answer the first one.
Okay.
Has the vision of what you've set out to do been maintained, and not just in terms of your content, but how you envisioned it going?
No, it hasn't really changed. Like I said, I've had to explain it in a different way than I thought I would have to, but the vision and what it is and what it stands for and what I stand for has not changed.
Okay. So it's gone pretty much too far? So I'm going to ask now, here's the fun question. What's your vision?
What's my vision? My vision is just essentially to create a platform that can constantly and consistently promote Canadian authors and artists. What I want is to be that place that the bigger publishers and agents look to find their next bestseller. Like that is the goal, is to have my authors poached from me with better offers from people who can offer bigger things.
Until you take over the world.
Until I take over the world and I can do that myself. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. But the point of everything I do is to support the Canadian creators and just help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, no, and that's a very admirable goal. So, speaking of, I do know one of your clients, right? I do know one of them.
You know a couple of them.
Yeah, I probably know quite a few of them, but I'm not the one in particular because you literally had to fix his work. So, how was I?
Reading your work was really interesting. You definitely have the idea, you have the inspiration, and you have the creativity. It's just the mechanics and some of the consistency that you need to work on. And that's what a lot of authors struggle with, but your creativity is there for sure, and the story was really good.
Yes.
Just needs some tweaking.
Absolutely. She's got lots of notes. They're all there, and I looked at them. I will say this is the one thing I really, really like. You are probably the second most professional person I've ever worked with.
Only the second? My goodness, who beat me out?
Florence Chan.
All right, fair enough.
If you've talked to Florence,
I have talked to Florence. Yeah.
Yeah, you understand why I say that.
Yeah.
But to be fair, she's also got more practice than you at this point. A couple of years, that might be a real competition. Mm-hmm. But when I look at professional models, I look at her. Mm-hmm. Because to me, she is the epitome of what she pushed me to be better when she didn't have to. Mm-hmm. But yet I truly believe she well delivered far and beyond what I could pay her. Mm-hmm. And that is the biggest compliment I can give to her. Mm-hmm. And she was incredibly poised under my own screw ups. So most professional person I've ever worked with. But you are number 2.
All right. I can take second place. That's fine.
Yes. So, I'm not asking you to pick favorites, but as an editor, what do you feel you bring to the table? Like what are your strengths? Where do you I know you like working with the author relationship, but specifically where do you feel like you really, really get and excel with works, like how you make them better?
Well, with any editor, the benefit of hiring an editor is having that second set of eyes. So you can only do so much self-editing because you're too close to the story. So having a second pair of eyes is always good. But personally, I only work within genres that I read a lot. So not only am I trained to edit the story to make it better, but I also know what's going on in the genre right now. I know the tropes, I know the cliches, and I can help kind of point that stuff out as well. But one thing that I really am careful with and take pride in my work is that I am able to edit to the author's style. I have been trained specifically to be able to do that, so that when I start any manuscript, I will always read through a certain amount of it before I start editing it, because I need to get a feel for the author's style to make sure that I'm editing to their style, not my personal style, right? Because I don't want to give a manuscript back to a client and have them feel like it's no longer their work. I am not here to rewrite it. I am here to make you sound the best that you can sound and help you not only improve the manuscript I'm working on, but improve as a writer overall.
So, which is good. I'm going to actually lead to another question. What about, like, in terms of, would you say you emphasize the writer's strengths and hide the weaknesses, or is it more like you just more like clarifying the voice of what you're doing?
Clarifying the voice. And I don't hide the weaknesses. What I'll do is I'll point them out and help you make them not a weakness.
Yes.
And help you strengthen that, so that when you get to the second book or your next project or whatever, I need to do less.
Yes.
Because in the first edit, I've kind of taught you a little bit of what I'm looking for and what I see when I'm reading something. So when you're writing next time, you have that in mind, right? So it's not just about improving the manuscript in front of me. It's about helping my clients become better writers so they need me less.
Yes.
Which, as a business model, is not very good, because the less you need me, the less I charge. But
actually,
that's just the goal in general, is to help writers improve.
I'm actually going to slightly disagree with you, and I'm going to tell you why. Here's the thing. Because what you're also ultimately doing is you're cultivating relationships.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
That's a large part of my job.
That is a very large part of your job. And so what's happening is the grunt work is last, but what you're actually, and this is something you need to think about long term too, right? I understand, especially because what eventually happens is your clients not just become your clients, they're also just to an extent, at the very least, like friends / business associates that you trust. And trust in this industry is a hard thing to work towards, but it's the idea, because if I trust you, right? Any discussions we have about how I fix my work will be just like little details, right? Nothing really important. It's just more about making me happy versus like what works. And if there's like a small problem, that's what you're there for.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's what you're there for, right? But what you're also doing is also, if they're making good works and people are happy with the works and the works are doing well, you're actually enhancing your business model, not decreasing your business.
Absolutely. There's that way to look at it, too.
Right, because what you're doing now is you now are developing a reputation of you can make people better. You do make them better. They do want to work with you.
That's the goal.
Right, they do want to work with you. And furthermore, even if they need you, quote unquote, less, right? Okay, let's say, even for the sake of argument, let's say I get to the point where I need a different set of eyes, right? I would always feel, especially if you do a really, really good job every single time I give it to you, I would almost feel like I give it to you as
just a double check.
As also a courtesy. Thank you, because it's not just about the business. No, obviously you do have rent to pay, and you can't just rob banks for a living or anything like that to handle said things. But the reality of the situation is what you want ultimately is what every professional wants, and that's appreciation for the work you do. And the people that work with you the people that you want to work with are the people that are going to appreciate you. And when that happens, it's not going to be about the detail, like the degree of work. It's going to be about the degree of relationship.
Yeah,
does that actually
absolutely.
does that make sense?
That absolutely does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, that's one of my favorite things about my job is having that author-editor relationship and the interpersonal stuff, because I am an extrovert. I work from home full-time, but I'm an extrovert, so being able to talk to authors and especially come to events like Creative Inc., where we are right now, is great because I get to kind of let my extrovert out and have that communication and that relationship, which is great.
I know you're very career driven, but what do you do for a hobby? Like, the reason I'm asking, I'm bringing this up for a very good reason. You're an extrovert dealing with, oh my God, you're an extrovert dealing with introverts, right?
I am, yeah.
And I'm an introvert, and I'm an introvert learning how to be extroverted for what I do, right? This is my side gig, or at least it's what I keep telling myself, right? But the thing is, I've had to learn to be more outgoing because my job is to make people I'm interviewing with comfortable. So they can be themselves in a way that they maybe not be on another interview show. That's what I want, and also people will want to come back.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Right? That's why you're back.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Right. But again, it's a relationship for you, and the way I'm going back to you, like we check. That extrovert does need to come out and play probably a little bit more than it does right now. So I'm kind of wondering, it would be obviously a hobby, not profession. But do you have a way to constructively let that part out of yourself more right now?
I actually get asked that question a lot. Anytime someone asks me what I do and I list off the 1,001 things that I do, they say, okay, but do you have time for hobbies? Do you sleep? What?
Well, no.
And I'm honestly any extra time I have goes back into my work in one way or another. And I have a bunch of side projects that are more project than actual work, but then I end up using that to promote the rest of my work. No. So anything that I end up doing ends up being for work. Because this is the other thing about you, because I can just see this with you. You'd be very comfortable on a stage. You'd be very comfortable in a presentation environment. Which is why I love teaching.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. There has to be something to let that
I guess it would be my teaching.
Yeah.
Then, because I am able to stand in front of a room and talk to my students, and I have office hours, and quite often, we'll be talking about an assignment, and then we'll just start chatting, and it's great. I love teaching for that. And you're probably right. That's where I let my extrovert out somewhat more frequently.
Because you would need that. Because I just think you would go stir. I get it. Your alcohol of choice is work, right?
Absolutely.
Right. But I get it. And I understand that. But again, just as be a healthy individual, right? At least as healthy as we get, anyway, right?
Hobbies are necessary, I know.
Well, okay, let me rephrase. It's not hobbies necessarily. It's the ability to let those parts of your personality out. Like being an editor, you're dealing with shy writer types, and I know. Trust me, I have to bring conversations out of some people, and I don't mind it. But I know that's for someone who's an extrovert, that would be very, very, very grating sometimes, right? Whereas, again, as teacher-student, you get to express yourself. You get to put out like a presentation. I wouldn't. Performance isn't quite the right word, although there are performance aspects to what you'd be doing there, right? But you get what I'm saying. It's very much like you're trying to.
It is how I appease the extrovert in me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love working from home, and I love being self-employed, and I do enjoy the quiet. Sometimes I'll go to a coffee shop or a library or something to do some work, to be around people, but when I'm editing, I need to be in quiet, so working from home works best for that. But I love teaching and just being in an environment where I'm around people. Because that does feel very you as well. But it's a good balance. No, I'm not. Again, I don't feel like you're in a bad spot. I just want to make sure you're not going to ever go to that. So it's like, Ellen, where are you?
What do you mean you're jumping out of there?
No. I plan to continue teaching as much as possible because I do love it.
Yeah, so what do you teach, if you don't mind my asking?
Currently, I am a teaching assistant for some undergrad publishing classes at Simon Fraser University, where I'm currently finishing my master's degree in publishing. So as a grad student, I am able to apply for teaching assistant positions. So I've been doing that for a couple semesters now, and I love it so much.
Yeah. No, I imagine. So would you go for a teach? We talked about this last time, but you going for teaching? Mm-hmm. Is that your next big thing to school wise you're going to go for at this point? Is for teaching at this teaching somewhere?
Well, I'm hoping to end up getting a sessional position or just getting a class here and there. Working up to something a little bit more part-time permanent, but right now I'm also looking into doing some workshops and seminars and things. I'm presenting at the Editors BC monthly meeting in April, so just doing things like that as well, just to keep teaching and keep that kind of part of my career active. But yeah, I definitely have plans to make that part of the overall world domination, as you call it.
Yes. Well, hey, listen, I love me some Pinky in the Brain. What are we doing tonight? Pinky, same thing we do every night. We're taking over the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, what are you reading right now? I mean, not for business, but for fun.
Oh God. What am I reading right now? I'm between books at the moment. Because I wanted to make sure I had something finished before I came to Creative Ink, because that just seemed like the smart thing to do.
I'm terrified of going to the Merchant's Corner with you and Pat tomorrow. I said this to Pat, she might be the second smartest woman I've ever met. Mm-hmm. She's a lot sharper than she gives herself credit for, and she's incredibly savvy.
Oh yes, that she is.
Yeah. She got two times ago I came. She made me buy a game I wasn't planning on buying. She talked me right into it. It's like, damn it.
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah.
But something I read recently that I absolutely loved and I can't say enough good words for is Graveyard Minds by Chadwick Ginther.
I haven't read that one yet. I got to go.
So good. I was actually on vacation with my family when I read it, and they were trying to get me to do all these vacation type activities with them, and I just said, no, I have to finish this book. I have to sit here and finish this book because I will not put it down. Not even that I can't. I will not put this down.
It's great when you have books like that. Right now I'm reading Pondlee's J City. Mm-hmm. Really fun. Mm-hmm. Gangs of New York, Chinese style. It's got kind of it's got a touch of a kung fu vibe to it, not like just like the old 70s. It's got just enough touch of that. It's but it's really, really good stuff. That's what I'm reading right now.
Good, so, yeah. Next on my list is Adrift by Rob Bofford. It was released last year, and Rob is one of my favorite authors. He also has the Outer Earth trilogy, which is amazing and fantastic, and everyone needs to read it. But Adrift is a standalone that he published last year, and I have it on my bookshelf, and
it's next.
It's next. He's already signed it and wrote a little note in it for me, which is great. But yeah, that's next on the to read list.
I'm reading Dwayne Clayton's first book next. Right now the title of it Escape Streams Book 2 is Outlaw, and I can't remember what the first one's called or on top of my head right now. It's But no, I'm reading that one next, and then after that, I'm actually reading. I'm finding myself going back to smaller books. Mm-hmm. Right. I find I'm kind of at that point where the big giant books. There are a few of them. Mm-hmm. Brandon Sanderson's crack. I've learned that he's kind of But if I'm going to read Brandon Sanderson, I'm going to make sure I have at least 4 days.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but...
Have you read Tyner Gillis's books yet?
I have not read Tyner yet.
You have to. Oh my God, he's another one of my favorite authors.
He is one of my favorite storytellers.
Absolutely,
yeah. I know, because I listened to his police stories. I actually asked him once, how do you keep a straight face? Because what I see, this is how I envision him when he's telling those stories. So I know he's not that in real life. Mm-hmm. But I pictured this really dry sergeant voice in my head. He's just dry. Yeah. No sense of humor at all. He's deadpanning everything he's saying to the crook, who just by the second seems dumber. and dumber.
But then you talk to Tyler, it's like, oh yeah, you have a sense of humor.
Oh no, he's got a wicked sense of humor, right? He has a wicked sense of humor. Anyways, when he's writing that, it's like first I read it's like it's so dry that I met Tyler last year. He's not a dry dude. How was it, right? How is it? And then I asked him, how do you keep a straight face? He goes, I don't. And he's like,
yeah, he just doesn't.
No, I don't. And I can totally see it because he's probably one of the most straight-laced dudes I've actually met here. And that would be like we'd have a beer, he'd just talk a story, and I'd be like probably laughing my ass off the whole way through it. So
yeah, well, you need to read his books. They're wonderful.
You're gonna make me buy one tomorrow, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I have book 1 and book 2 in his series. You're getting both tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so this is gonna air. Do you know what you're coming out with in May yet? All right, for Constellate.
Yes.
Okay.
I need to think about it for a moment, but yes, because April is.
This will air in April. That's why I'm bringing this out. So you can advertise. So when we get
yeah. So May will be a story called Crusaders by Con Lavery.
Con's awesome.
Con is great. I really like chatting with Con. Like, he has a lot of really good stories.
I also dig, again, my inner comic geek, when I ever look at his books, I love his design. He has his aesthetics are almost like another level. Like, I look at some of the stuff I read in comics, his stuff's better. I don't know if he knows how good he is. I know he knows he's a good designer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he really knows how good he is, right?
Yeah, I really like the designs that he has, especially his book covers.
Yeah.
For that one series that he has, which I...
Damnation?
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Yeah, no, that's really good. I actually asked him to write a short for the e-zine because I had read part of his series and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoy his storytelling style. So yeah, that's what's coming out in May.
Okay, so I think it was short and sweet, a lot of fun to catch up with you. I'm very happy for your success.
Why, thank you.
Yes. But I think what we should do is wrap up 2 things. Now we're going to do it the other way.
Okay.
Because this will be, April will be the current story.
Okay.
So we'll talk about April's current story, where people can donate to you on Patreon. And then afterwards I have a question for you when it's over. All right.
Okay.
And how people can find you, obviously.
So the April story is called I Murder Machines, and it's by a relatively new author, Dylan Hayes Cross. And he was a friend of a friend, and I read some of his stuff and just heard him talk. And I was like, you need to write a short for me. And it was really, really interesting. It's an interesting take on AI, and the ending. Every time I read it, I've gone through a couple rounds of edits, and I've just read the story, and every time I read this ending, it still hits me in the gut. It's so good. So that's the April story. So if you sign up for the Patreon, the cheapest tier is only $3, and that gets you the story plus the cover art and the illustrations inside the story and all that. And then there are a couple higher paying tiers where you also get interview content, access to a Facebook writers feedback group, and some of the higher paying tiers also have the option for short story editing.
Fair enough. And Ellen Michelle is your Twitter?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Ellen_MIC and at Constellate Pub. Twitter is a good place to find me.
Fair enough. And that was my conversation with Ellen Michelle. I've always been a very big fan of hers. I always will be. She is, without a doubt, she is everything I admire about people in publishing, especially in Canada. She wears her heart on her sleeve, incredibly driven, talent, focused, smart, incredibly professional. She made my work better just with what she's done for me so far. I am very excited to work with her in the future with other books, and I'm really happy to have her. And I think if you're an author looking for a great editor, she is the person you should definitely talk to. Check her out or on Facebook. Support her Patreon. We need more good Canadian content out there. Constellate Publishing, I should say. Every month she puts out an amazing short story on her Patreon. You definitely sign up, do some stuff, like support whatever you can, and just help her make it better. I mean, she is one of the best in the biz, and you should definitely check her out. All right. Next, I'm going to talk about Bunder and Press. I was going to talk about Adam this week, but I think I'm going to give Adam all of next week, because really I don't know if I can do Adam Drees justice for this. So I'm going to continue with Bunder and Press. Check out bunderandpress.ca. Bunder and Press does quality science fiction. They have graciously donated a bunch of books for me to give away throughout the month. And the first one I'm giving away is Blood and Water. It is a short story collection about resource wars in the near future from a Canadian standpoint. Some of the contributors are past guests, Gerald Brent Nichols, Susan Forrest, future guests like Jennifer Ron. Personal favorite story in here was the one by Stephanie Bedwell Grime. I love the whole concept of watchers in space time, and also a very good story about being sober, of all things. It's a really good story. Great book. I'm giving it away. There's going to be a link at the bottom of the page. You click on it, put your email into it, and if I choose you Monday, you will win, and I will send you a copy of this book. I've been giving prizes away from Words and Pictures. I'm continuing with Bunder and Press, and I will be doing so from Adam Drees starting next week. Beyond that, I'm I'm excited. I got one more Creative Inc. interview, but I'm going to hold off until next Thursday on that one. My current guest is next week is first going to be John Maven. We're going to finish our conversation. That's episode 257. Episode 258. I'm not going to give it away. It's a really cool interview. It's one I'm really happy I got my chance to do. It's not every day you get someone that awesome to come on your show. But if you want to know who that is, now check out my Facebook page, Joshua Pentellaresco, author/podcaster. I put a lot of cool, just exclusive stuff there. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a bonus clip soon enough for Alice Zero. I'm going to be doing a little reading of that next week as I finish that. But you can find out who my guest is there right now. Otherwise, I can't wait till episode 258. I can't wait for episode 257 either. I love talking to John. John is amazing. And that will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. So, you can support this podcast a number of different ways. You can subscribe to the podcast. You can do this a number of different ways. I am on Podomatic, but I'm also on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify, whatever platform, and a bunch of other platforms as a result. If you want to subscribe, listen, spread the word as much as you can. I love my show. I'm proud of it. And I want more people to listen to it. I have a YouTube channel, Joshua Pentellaresco. I have 180 episodes up there right now that you can listen to from the past. Just added a couple more tonight, so hopefully you guys check that out. Same thing, subscribe, review, spread the word. My books, The Watcher, Storm Dancer, Wandering God, courtesy of Mirror World Publishing. Mirror World Publishing has a special on for The Watcher. You can get it for free by going to the website at mirrorworldpublishing.com. You can definitely check them out and just, get the book for free. And if you like the book, leave a review on Goodreads, Amazon, or wherever you want to review good books. That's awesome. If you don't, but enjoyed this episode, thank you very, very much for listening. Stay inspired, pursue your thing, and I will be back Monday.
Josh.